So I thought I'd give you just a quick rundown on how to navigate your way through a Drupal site. And before we do that, I'm using a module called Administration Menu. And this just makes it really fast and easy to get around your Drupal site and to just change little admin things real fast without actually going into the admin back end and looking through all that stuff. So if you want to follow along, I'd recommend getting this module because you can just move around really quickly. So first of all, Drupal is kind of created in sections, the back end. It's not like WordPress or Joomla where you've got a very separate admin back end to this. You've got your front end, which the world sees, and then you've got your back end, which only you can log in and see. It's not like that. You can create a different theme. For example, I've got an admin theme on here, so my admin backend does at least look a little different than the normal Drupal setup. So if I go to my site/admin, you can see I've got these different sections. I've got content management, site building. If I scroll down, I've got user management, I've got site configuration, and reports. So these are basically all the different sections in your Drupal admin. Now, with the admin menu, I've got all those things up here by just hovering and clicking on things. So I can look at things really quickly. It sections it off a lot better. It's kind of like a good overview, and you can, from a bird's eye view, see what the structure of Drupal is. So I'll probably use that instead of this to explain things because it's real easy to see. This gives you a nice little description. So if you want to read the descriptions of what the different sections are, then you can easily look down here. But basically, content management, this is content management, this is the same thing. I've got, comments, content, this is where you manage your comments, this is where you manage your content. You can see all content on the entire site listed in this menu. All comments on the entire site listed right here. You can create or edit your content types. I can talk about content types later. Create content, meta tags, taxonomy. Taxonomy is just a fancy word for categories. You create different categories like in WordPress, so it just sounds different. But mostly this is how you just mess with your content. Creating, editing, deleting, stuff like that. That's why it's content management. Kind of makes sense. Occasionally modules will throw in different stuff like meta tags or page titles. These are more like settings for those modules. Usually you don't do it here, but it's very content specific, so that's why they stuck it in here. But site building, it's the same as this over here. You can read your descriptions here. This is very when you first set up your site, when you're building your site, this is the stuff you change. You change blocks, your contact form. You change menus, you can do themes, different views, URL aliases, settings, stuff like that. So your site building section is usually what you're touching when you're building and you're first doing your site. You usually don't mess around in here very often once you get everything set up. Next is site configuration. That's right here. It scrolls all the way down for a while. But this is where you'll find most modules. Modules are just like plugins in WordPress. So module information and settings are found right in here. So I have what's called an add to any module where I can add the settings. I can say what node types I want the add to anything, this little thing, to pop up on. And this is where I can modify the settings for that. So that's the site configuration. If you enable any module almost all the time, I would say probably 90% of the time, the settings for the module are going to be in here. Occasionally they throw it in user management. Occasionally they'll throw it in site building. Like this is path auto and URL or path redirect modules, their settings. Meta tag is a different module, and that's a different module. So out of all the different modules I've got on here, there's only like 4 that show up in these 2 other things. So if you can't find your settings in here, look in these different places and you'll be able to find it. User management is just that. It's for managing your users, creating, deleting users, viewing users, giving users roles, creating new roles. I can talk about what roles are in a different video. Assigning the different permissions to the different roles on your site. Things like that. It's pretty self-explanatory what user management is. It's managing users. Reports. Reports will show up if you got your statistics module enabled. Reports are just like, you know, recent hits, recent log entries. If you get errors, warnings that pop up, they'll log it right in here. Your status report is where you can see what modules you need to update, things like that. This little pop-up right here, it says one or more problems detected with your Drupal installation. Click on the status report, and when this pops up, that could mean something really stupid and simple. It's just kind of a warning to let you know. Normally, users won't see this. Only people with access permissions to see this will see this. So, and then you've got different help. Some modules write fancy help things, so you can click on this and get a more in-depth description. Some of them don't have much of anything, like this one. So they just link to a different place. So that's the basic layout of Drupal. If you're needing something like, where's my content? It's probably in the content. If you want to change your theme, themes probably you do at the beginning when you're first building your site, so it's under site building, you know. So you kind of got to think like that. Where is my stuff at? And I will find it in one of these different, 5 regions, 5 sections of the site. 4 sections where you hang out most of the time. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you found it interesting. Let me know.